Okay. All right, let's get started. So the total cost of cyber crime in 2024 is going to reach a staggering $6 trillion worldwide. That's trillion with a T. Good afternoon. My name is Barry Tracy. I'm a member of the Information Security Office here at Texas State, and my presentation today is going to be about careers in the cybersecurity industry. So this is just an agenda of what the areas I'm going to be covering today. I'll talk briefly about our ISO organization here at Texas State. I'll discuss briefly the state of cybersecurity. I'll be given some pointers on how to get started in the information security field for anyone who may be interested, and also some tips on how to grow your career and possibly move into the cybersecurity field. So our mission here at Texas State, that is for the Information Security Office, is to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of Texas State data, information, communications, and services is protected. So how do we accomplish this? Well, we develop procedures, rules to protect our research, to protect our and other assets, and we also perform consulting in the areas of security risk, governance, and risk assessment. One of our most important roles here at Texas State is to provide leadership for and take the lead in performing information incident investigations and responses when necessary. This is what the Information Security Office looks like. The Chief Information Security Officer is Dan Owen, our big boss. We also have a number of information security analysts. That's me. That's Julia. Got Tony over here. Basically, our management chain consists of a director for our governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC effort. That's Michelle. And Rick manages our security operations effort here at Texas State. So what is it that we do? Well, we try to take the lead in every year for cybersecurity awareness. We respond to phishing scams on site, and there's a lot of those from one day to the next. Phishing scams. We do security training and consultation with the various departments here. We perform risk assessments and risk management activities for new technologies and new cloud products that people want to bring in and use. We provide support for our technical support specialists. Typically, there's one assigned to each department. We manage security services and tools. Our services include risk assessments, vulnerability scans, managing our firewalls, and as far as the tools, we manage like our virtual private network and our duo multi-factor authentication capability here. So here are some facts and figures surrounding jobs in the current cybersecurity industry. And you're going to hear this. This is going to be a recurring theme today, but about 50% of the hiring managers that have been surveyed generally do not believe that applicants, those people applying for cybersecurity positions within their organization, are well qualified. And an additional 16% of the applicants are either unable or uncomfortable. Well, no, that's the hiring managers. They're either unable or uncomfortable making a determination as to whether or not to hire someone. 16% of respondents state that these are, again, hiring managers say that it takes 6 months or more to fill a new cybersecurity position. And why is that? Well, because there's a core set of skills that hiring managers look for when they want to bring a new person on board as an information security analyst. These are some of the skill sets: threat intelligence analysis, application security. Typically, if you've got experience in security administration, security engineering, and security architecture. Cloud computing is a hot topic today. If you've have experience working in cloud computing, that might get your foot in the door. The capability to perform risk assessments and other threat analysis, security analysis, and also governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC. So let's take a look at a typical information security analyst's position. Now these figures are somewhat dated, but I've got good numbers here as well. In 2019, the average salary was over $99,000 a year. In 1 year later, it went up over 100 to 103.5. Typically, incoming information security analysts will have a bachelor's degree and less than 5 years of experience in the IT field that's not necessarily working in information security. No OJT, and the number of available jobs was between 131,000 and 141,000 between 2019 and 2020. Of course, the projected outlooks on a go-forward basis are significantly higher than that. And employee change, those would be people that left their position for another, either in the information security field or outside of it. So here's the total population of available cybersecurity jobs in the United States, and this is taken at a point in time, probably in 2023, but this is based on a search out there in the Indeed database. There were over 8,900 senior analyst positions. The mid-level positions were about 21,500. And the entry-level positions were at 5,616. So of these positions, 88% of these positions require a bachelor's degree or higher and at least 3 years experience. So typically for your mid-level analyst position, you've got like 1 to 3 years of experience. Your senior level positions, you're talking probably a little over 5 years of experience, and the entry-level positions have 0 experience, but they probably have a critical skill or two that where the hiring manager felt comfortable bringing them on. So what factors does a hiring manager take into consideration when considering a candidate? Uh, the most important factors are hands-on training. So if you've got a working knowledge of maybe an intrusion detection system, how it works, if you're familiar with Unix, Unix file structures or Unix file permissions, that's a big plus. That would go under hands-on training. Credentials, those would be your professional certifications. I'll talk about those in a couple slides. And you know, if you've got hands-on cybersecurity experience, that's what the hiring managers are looking for. I can tell you one area, like if you've got experience working a help desk, an IT help desk, I've seen people get offers from an information security office based on their experience working the help desk. So let's look at a few of the biggest frustrations for employers. 32% say it takes 6 months or more to fill an open cybersecurity position. 72% of security professionals believe that their HR department really doesn't understand what requirements it is that the hiring managers are looking for. And 70% say fewer than half of the cybersecurity applicants are well qualified. So if you've got 4 people interviewing that have applied for a job, you know, you can probably cut that number in half right off the bat. Of course, you have to go through the interview process in order to do that. Let's see, and there's skill gaps that persist, like 32%. These would be your soft skills that are required, the ability to talk to people, to be able to ask the right questions, to understand what it is that they're hearing from someone that might be involved in a security incident. This 30% is the IT knowledge that would be required in order to perform a security analyst's position. And it's the insufficient business insight or understanding of the business. That's another 16%. And there's a couple others there. But employers generally consider a candidate to be well qualified if as a rule, if they don't have to train them to do, you know, train them for their cybersecurity analyst position. If they can come in and hit the ground running, that's typically what the hiring managers are looking for. Here's 10 cybersecurity technical skills. Some of these are related to security and some are not. Scripting. Do we have any computer science people? Okay. So scripting is the ability to write and to understand software code. As a cybersecurity analyst, you might be asked to perform a code review to try to understand what the code does, and also look for bad code, you know, in a software program. Controls and frameworks. There's a number of industry standards by NIST, and I mean, IEEE even has a couple controls and frameworks. So if you've worked with like the cybersecurity framework from NIST or the risk management framework, or if you've got a copy of it and you've read through it to the point where you understand what it's saying, I mean, that's a big plus if you go in into a job interview. Intrusion detection, and as well as intrusion prevention, um, network security, OS. If you've ever worked on an incident response team, that includes disaster recovery and business continuity exercises. That's a big plus. Cloud computing, understanding cloud computing environments, that's a big plus. DevOps, that's short for software development and operations. Threat knowledge and regulatory guidelines. So here at Texas State, we've got standards like HIPAA, FERPA, and also the GDPR, if you've ever heard of that, the General Data Protection Requirements. That's actually a European standard, but we're looking at that. Career paths. Once you get into once you become an information security analyst, there's a number of different ways you could go. If you demonstrate a proficiency, you might be able to become an information security officer, security engineer, or a security analyst. You could work in encryption or key management, risk management and risk assessment, incident investigation. Penetration testing only involves using, if you've got experience using some penetration software, and a lot of that is freely available or publicly available from the internet, like Nessus. If you've ever done a vulnerability scan, that those would be points for you. If you've got experience in software development, right, yeah. Vulnerability research, which is a threat, basically performing threat assessments, disaster recovery, business continuity, and also audit and analysis. Like I was an IT auditor in a prior life before I moved back into the information security. So that's a logical transition. Forensic analysis. So here's some stats on why people who are working in the cybersecurity industry leave their job. Well, the biggest reason is that they get recruited by other companies for more money. About half say that they experience limited promotion and development opportunities. Half say that they're not being paid enough money. 40% say it's working in cybersecurity presents a high level of stress. And 39% say that they're not supported by their manager, and that's not necessarily a problem. Well, I mean, it's really a problem in every industry. I mean, you could have a good manager, you could have a great manager, or you could have a manager that's not that great. 66% of managers say it's difficult to retain cybersecurity talent, which is up from last year. Professional certifications. Typically, you would need at least one of these, or be pursuing one of these if you were going to go and interview for a security analyst's position. The CISSP, the Certified Information System Security Professional, is probably the most prestigious professional certification in the cybersecurity industry. There's also some professional certifications offered through ISACA, the Information Systems Audit and Control Association. They sponsor the CRISC, the CISM, and the CISA. And you've got other assorted certifications here. A certified ethical hacker, which would be a white hat hacker. Forensic investigator. And that GIAC has to do with information assurance, certification in information assurance. But I can tell you, I have the CISM and the CISA from the Systems Auditors certification from my past experience as an IT auditor. So those are different professional certifications that you might consider pursuing. One of the easiest ones to pass is this Security Plus certification, and that might be enough to let a hiring manager know that you're serious, about information security, and that you'd like a position to broaden your horizons. So here's some pointers on how to gain the upper hand. Leverage professional networks. Now I know everybody knows what LinkedIn is. It's a social media site that allows a person to set up a profile and basically post your resume online. I can tell you, and I'm sure Tony will attest, that information security analysts, we get cold calls from headhunters routinely. And when we say, well, how did you get my name? Well, they search these profiles out there on LinkedIn to try to find qualified people for open positions. Stay current on evolving technologies, trends, and topics. If there's there was a big hack for Ticketmaster. Who owns Ticketmaster? Live what? Live
events, live concerts, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, they got like 350,000 MasterCard data and all of that. There's viruses, supply chain viruses, you read about, and new technologies. So I went to a conference 3 weeks ago, and it was a security conference, but everything, all of the sessions that you would sign up for were about artificial intelligence. So that's a hot topic. If you know about AI and regenerative AI and all of those things, and you can speak intelligently on it, then you do well during a job interview. Attend meetings in the professional industry. So there are professional organizations for information security analysts and people in the field. ISSA, the Information System Security Association, has monthly meetings. ISACA, which is the organization for auditors and IT auditors, they meet. And also there's an organization called ISC Squared, which is another security organization that sponsors that CISSP certification. They meet regularly. The thing about these professional organization meetings is that there aren't any in San Marcos, but they're all meeting up there in Austin. So it would involve a drive up there, once a month to go up there. But it would be a great opportunity to hear speakers talk about current trends in the industry, as well as to do some networking with the people there that are also going to be there in attendance. Maintain a network of colleagues. So I can't tell you how important that is, and And you can also do that like through LinkedIn. But the more people you know, the better chances you have of getting hired somewhere. Along that same note, know people on the inside, because that's how you're going to get the inside track on jobs, is to know someone that's already working there. Research companies of interest. If you know someone on the inside, then you can find out what technologies they're leveraging, what security tools they have, so that you can better prepare for the day when you go in for that job interview. Here's a list of resources to help you learn about topics in the field. The Gartner Group, they're a big consulting company. Dark reading, if anybody goes out there and looks at the dark web at all, there's a lot of stories and interesting articles out there about that. OWASP. Let me tell you about OWASP. If you go in for a job interview, I would say more times than not, the hiring manager is going to say, well, what do you consider to be like some of the top vulnerabilities that are companies are facing these days? Well, if you go out here on this OWASP website, they publish the top 10 web application security vulnerabilities. They do that every year. So that's going to, if you read that, the top 10, and familiarize yourself with them, you'll be ready for that question. SANS, these organizations offer security training and also preparation for professional certification exams. ISC Squared, International Information Systems Security something. They sponsor the CISSP certification, and they offer boot camps and training sessions on how to what to study in order to pass the exam. And EDUCAUSE, so there's an EDUCAUSE. They offer conferences, and most of these organizations, whenever they have a conference, they offer student discounts, possibly even free admission for students. So let's see. Podcasts, if you don't like to read, you can listen to a podcast. The Hackable podcast and Smashing Security are the two podcasts on the top of the list. There's also Darknet Diaries and CP Radio, Industry News, CyberWire Daily, SANS podcasts. There's different bloggers that offer like weekly security podcasts and defensive security. I don't know how that got in there. So Q&A. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we covered today? Yes.
For the certifications, I'm pretty sure you have to pay for them. Is there one that's like cheaper out of all of them? I know the easiest one was the Security Plus one.
Yeah, here's the thing. It might cost you $100 like to sign up to take the exam, but before anybody would make that investment in taking an exam, you would want some study material, and that's you're going to pay like another $150 or more for a study guide for a particular professional certification exam. Other organizations offer boot camps, which would be week-long week-long sessions, intensive study sessions, 8 hours a day on what to study and what to expect when you walk in there to take the exam, and it would just be a simple matter of Googling, just putting, say, CISSP boot camp. You'll get 100.
One step further?
Sure.
Okay, so on some of those exams, mainly the CISSP, the CEH, they will also have bundles where you can get a free retake if you don't pass it on your first one. And then there are some discounts if you do pass it that first time, mainly for the CISSP.
And those boot camps, they're expensive. I mean, they're dirty, down and dirty expensive, like maybe $500 or something like that. And don't think by any means if you go to 40 hours of training to take an exam and do no additional study that you're going to walk in there and pass the exam, because it ain't going to happen. Other questions?
The biggest thing about cybersecurity as well that I've seen throughout other people as well as just getting your foot inside the door. So you talked about like senior and mid-level as well, but what can really an entry-level person that's about to graduate this upcoming December really do to get himself in the door as well? Should you focus upon like maybe doing one project, or maybe trying to get a certification, or like what else?
If you worked on a project while you were in school,
Yes.
Pursuing your degree, say you were taking a database administration course, and one of your projects was to like you basically built a working database. I know when I was in college, we our instructor was like a NBA basketball nut, and he made us put together a program where we'd have to feed in the scores on a nightly basis, and keep tabs on what each team was doing, and what the odds are of that team making the playoffs and stuff like that. But I mean, those are the kind of things that you would want to bring to a hiring manager's attention if you were going in for an interview. Can you think of anything else?
Yes, I would say the most important thing that I would tell you to do is build a home lab. Make it virtual, make it physical. You can find cheap servers online, both from eBay and from multiple venues, and you only need the basic, equivalent of an Apple Mini. Get you a couple of those, build a test and virtual environment, get used to it, know the tools that these people use, and you can tell that by the people who work for them LinkedIn, what they specialize in. I promise you that's what the company's using.
And protocols.
Go build a small environment. You ain't gotta build a giant environment, build a small environment using those tools. And then when you go there, you're gonna already know what problems they're facing, how to fix them, and what's going on, and at least to how to speak their language.
Thank you.
Cool.
Also, there's resource material on threat intelligence that you might be able to apply towards talking to a hiring manager. That stuff is just out there. All you have to do is Google it, and it would be there for you. Sure.
I think one of the biggest things with cybersecurity, a lot of people get intimidated, especially for like entry-level positions, is they see, just like I said earlier, they'll for job applications, they'll have like a list of things like we're looking for this. But with entry-level, it's not that you need that experience. It's like they would prefer that you know something about those systems. So don't be discouraged if you see a job, an opening, and it says all these systems you've never seen or done before. As long as you know something about them, believe it or not, they're willing to work with you. You don't have to have 5 years of working with Unix or something.
So that's kind of a wish list that the companies put out. But what I'm saying is, you do need to know something about them. But they're going to say, we would like you to be proficient in the logarithm sim. But if you use Splunk, which is a free sim, then you can do the correlation from one to the other to move back and forth. So as long as you have an understanding of how it works, you don't need to be familiar with the latest Cisco switch, but what you do need to be familiar with is the terms of networking and switching and how to actually do it, because once you understand that if I move this packet here, you can learn how do I do that in a different machine.
So some universities offer courses in CCNA, which is a Cisco Network.
Administration.
Thank you. Those don't typically apply to go towards a degree as they do, like you take the classes, you know, in order to take the exam. But I took classes in CCNA, and you learn a lot about routing, switching, network protocols, and the kind of things that would help you get in the door at Cisco if that's what you were looking for. I want to say one other thing. You know, there are intern opportunities too that I don't know of many here at Texas State, and none that are offered through the Information Security Office. But like interning somewhere, especially within an Information Security Office, and I have seen interns positions posted like for Oracle. And some of these other big Microsoft, big companies like that, they don't pay very well. They might not pay anything, but the experience that you would get from an internship would be invaluable. Yes.
Question. Being someone who's trying to get into an entry-level position, since there's so many certifications, how many certifications would you say is sufficient enough to get into the door? Like, would I need to take 2, or would 1 be enough? Or
So what I would say, so I mean, I entered the job market back in '82, and since then I've earned my CISM and my CISA, and those are two certifications that kind of go hand in hand, mainly because they're both offered through the same. They have the same sponsor, ISACA, and so I mean the questions, although they might not be similar, they're asked in a similar manner. But in answer to your question, I would say I would feel comfortable going in and interviewing with one of these. But if you go in there and they ask you, so what do you have in the way of professional certifications? You let them know that you're currently studying to sit for the CISM, for Information Security Analyst position. Say I'm studying to sit for the CISM, and I expect to take the test take the exam within the next 6 weeks. I've done that before. I've used that line before, and believe me, it works. And the thing about some of these certifications is that you can pass the exam, but virtually all of these professional certifications require experience in order to actually get the certification. So if you went in to interview, you would probably say, well, I passed the CISM exam, and I need to find a job so that I can get the experience to actually become a CISM. Some of them require 3 years of experience with a degree. Others require 5 years of experience without a degree. So, but if you pass the exam and you tell that to the hiring manager, that's 90% of having the certification. Yes.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
All right, so I break this into 3 segments, and I've had it for most of my career. It's, do you have a degree? Do you have the certification? Can you do the work? If you have one of any of these 3 things, they will give you a job. If you have 2 of any of these things, you can get paid the moderate salary at this job. If you have all 3 of these things, you can demand whatever the hell you want, and they will pay you. So for the cert, we go back to, if you can do the function, if you can route and switch and set up their firewalls, I got the job at AMD without any cert or degree. It was, I walked in and I was able to do everything that they needed me to do. Now, did I have a coworker sitting right next to me making $20,000 more than me for doing the exact same job, and the man ended up being my assistant? Yup, yes I did. So that's why I break it into those parts of why you want to complete all 3 of these things so that you are now in control of this. But if we start off with the basic, what's the job that they want you to do? If they want you to be an analyst and do risk registers, then you just need to go and then start figuring out how to do risk registers, start figuring out where everything is. Get comfortable with that before you even showed up at the interview. I mean, I do Google dorking of the entire company's LinkedIn to find out what they're using, what their people are, what they're doing, so that I can speak their complete language when I walk in. But I'm also OCD, and I kind of want to be ahead of everything that they have there when I'm pushing forward. I hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you.
Other questions?
Just piggybacking off that question, when we talk about like having a degree, does that degree necessarily need to be in like tech or anything?
My degree's in political science. My degree's in political science.
Oh, okay, I got you.
A tech degree helps, but once you have the experience and certifications, it is just there for money. Which is weird saying that when I work for a college. Which a college hired me for a job in tech with no degree. So that tells you how important it is.
So if you see a position like for an entry-level security administrator, like a Windows for Windows or something like that, they're looking for someone who's come in that will be able like to go in and help out the team. If you go in, you can Google information on how Microsoft Windows accounts are set up, what permissions are available to assign to a user account, how user accounts are created, how they're deleted, typical account maintenance tasks and stuff like that. If you have a working understanding of that, even without any experience, and you can convey that to a hiring manager, it's possible you might be able to get the job.
What's the difference between security analysts and security engineers?
Well, a cybersecurity analyst and what?
Engineer.
Typically, security engineers deal with developing systems, developing applications. They're more of an architect. They put it together, whereas an analyst takes the working product and does risk assessments and risk management practices on an operational system. Security engineers are more like development, not in the software, not software development, but mostly like hardware architectures and stuff. And also, I think like cybersecurity is pretty much synonymous with information security. It's just cybersecurity is the flavor of the day. Because for the last 20 years, it's always been information security. Okay? All right, well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. You've been a great audience.
One quick one. 2 things. First, we're giving away t-shirts, buttons, sunglasses, and screen protectors. Please come by and see us on your way out. And second, Friday from 6 to 9, we will be doing a jobs and cybersecurity panel. We'll have some cybersecurity engineers. We'll add LCAC teaching theater. We'll have a pen tester in. We'll have a couple security analysts in. And we'll be giving them questions back and forth from the field. And y'all are more than invited to come by, ask them anything. Hell, ask them how much they make you and how much work they actually have to do to get that. We'll have pizza from Pie Society, and we'll have chips and drinks as well. And it'll be from 6 to 8:30 on Friday across the street at the teaching theater. Yes.
Do you have the names of the panelists?
Yes, I have it on one of my slides. Hit me up after this and I will get them for you. Oh, well, you can have stuff now, or you can go where you stay.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming out.
The other way.